check, check, check. Check. All right. Okay. All right. Today, no intro song, no music. Today, I'm just going to drop some bars a cappella, no music, because somebody made the passing comment, but Blizzy, in your bars, all you do is just say cuss words and just repeat the same thing. So we're gonna try some bars not doing that. All right, and this is still for the same target. We currently have our foot on the neck of Toxic. So let's go. All right, it might take a minute to warm up, but we'll see how it goes. All right. You skimmed and you spin it like you was embedded, the deputy neglected, repackaged the credit, aesthetic of intellect, hollow synthetic, created persona with none of the metrics. You switch when it's rich, you get shifty, get slippery, then friendly and frigid, then whispering victory, clingy when empty, then quickly turn bitchy. You cry for the camera, calculated fracture, manufacture damage, and manage the narrative, tragic the actors, you practice like actors, then flip it to venom the moments of challenge. You don't got a lane, you just drift in the traffic, attach to whoever, tracing the status. Extract what you can, then detach with the hatchet, a pattern, so pattern, you're practically static, a parrot, the great, garble the cadence, misquote the intent, color translation, collage of concepts with no integration, just fragments of brilliance and poor imitation. You think you tactician, you tactless decision, half-baked ambition with cracked intuition, you play it, division and like the precision of blunt force attempt at master my mission, too big for a bond and bend it and break. Oh, hold on. Good grief. All right. Well, there you go, guys. There you go. I forgot what I was even talking about. Salute to you guys, though, and welcome in. Yo, 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 what it do's? YouTube's what it do's. Salute to you guys and welcome in. My name is Blizzy Blind. I am your handsome, oh so talented host, Blizzy Blind, and you, my friend, are just in time for the So I hope you have your inebriants. I hope you have your inebriants, if that's a word. Let's see if we can get back in the flow. Okay. What was the last thing I said? Shit. I don't remember what I was saying. Okay. You you guess like the past to Latazian and vacant and weaponized pain is a blade when it's basic. You loop the delusion, confuse it with growth. Say this is my truth. While shifting the scope, you drown in the echo of quotes you don't know, a ghost in the show, a bar of control, you feign revelation, regurgitates ages, but skip the reflection, you straight to the statements, no inner digestion, no surface inflation, a sermon with zero self-confrontation, you fracture the room with practice of vibes, slide at the smile and fracture the spine, align for a minute and snap and rewind the cycle of allied enemy design. You run from the stillness, get lost in the noise, deploying your damage with tactical ploys, annoying, avoiding, destroying the poise, avoid making volume to fill in the void, you flexing the forge, but sourced by the bar, course of the voices of well who you are, appealed by the pairs and nothing to char, a spark that went, trying to mimic a star, pivot to pity, second the pressure, flip with aggression, nobody checks your pendulum swinging from proud to action, you speak to the preacher, trying to detection. I am the Blizzy. So that was just to like see if I could do it, and turns out I can. Turns out I wasn't tripping when I said I could do whatever I want. it turns out I wasn't tripping. But for those of you wondering, but Blizzy, why would you still be making fun of Toxic Angel? Uh, you're too immersed, Blizzy. You're too immersed. Pull out. Pull out. You're gonna hurt somebody. Well, goddamn. I don't know what to tell you, my friends. I don't know what to tell you because you know what? Let me see. I'm trying to see. Hold on. I don't really got no smack to talk though, really. But I think I thought it's hilarious, dude. I thought it was hilarious how when you search for his name, my video is the first one that shows up. Oh, what is this? Who is this? Oh, Flow State. Salute to the homie, man. This fool wigged out on Flow too? I never knew that. I knew he wigged out on everybody else. Let's see what happened with him and Flow State. Oh, I was gonna say though, it's funny, man. It's funny because like when you think about it, let's think about it. I'm gonna give y'all a hypothetical scenario. Okay? There's a guy named Blizzy, and he beats up girls and scams people and stuff like that. And then there's a guy named Toxic Angel who gets some stupid ass tattoo on his face and tells a bunch of lies and steals Blizzy's girlfriend. Now, Blizzy makes content talking about Toxic Angel, and they tell Blizzy how he's too immersed, how he's too involved, how what he's doing is unhealthy, how he's a bully, and that. And Toxic Angel makes content talking about Blizzy with all these extra people that Blizzy doesn't even know on his panel. And people literally stop, everybody comes out of the woodwork to stop by and say hi and, oh, you're so cool and stuff like that. It's so weird, right? I don't know. It just makes you wonder. I'm wondering like where he's at though. since since I uh since I put that video out yesterday with my bars, dropping those bars all over his face and neck area, I haven't seen nothing yet from him. But let's see what happened with Flow State. Oh shit. Oh shit. Hold on, I better plug in my soundbar.
In the field actually interrogating unsub.
All right, here we go.
Let me read this description of the upcoming.
Hey, shout out to Flow State, man. That's the homie. I haven't talked to him in a minute, but I don't think he'll mind me watching this. I hope he doesn't. I don't know if him and Toxic have made up.
Hit piece on Crispy. Very goddamn, what a fucking mountain of terrible grammar.
It's really like a meth rant. I can't read these words. They're
not. Bro, Crispy Treat said that Toxic Angel did a meth rant. It's that ketamine, bro. It's that ketamine that you hear that fool chopping up and snorting on his live streams.
The right order. It's good. I think you might be dyslexic, bro. I'm not reading this. No. I think you might be dyslexic. Read the script once. Okay, you want me to read the script? Yes. All right, then I'll read the words you wrote.
Izzy is a professional PSYOPs, having worked for the 82 Airborne, and she not only had professional training in interrogation tactics, but applied them in the field.
Oh, shit. Hold on. Hold up. I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this for him. Now this is Toxic Angel. He says, Izzy is a professional psyops. What? What? Toxic? What are you talking about? Izzy, the dude that Resto used to bang? What? Izzy is a professional psyops, having worked for the 82 Airborne, and she not only had professional training in interrogation tactics, but applied them in the field, actually interrogating unsubs. This makes her more than qualified to point out rather my personal experience in interrogation, lie detection tactics is legal or bullshit. What? Is Toxic Angel saying that he is a human lie detector with interrogation experience? What a goof butt. Is that what you're saying, goof butt? It says, this makes her more than qualified to point out rather, I think he means whether, but he says, point out rather my personal experience in interrogation, lie detection tactics is legit or bullshit. I don't know. I call Cap. He says, so now only will she be honestly grading my abilities to detect bullshit, but she will also do her own analysis in this stream. Bro, like every sentence this guy speaks is a cry for validation, bro. Like from her, from him, from you. Please validate me. And he continues. And because I believe Crispy, how did that turn out, Toxic? How did that turn out, my boy? He says, and because I believe Crispy not only lied, okay, my bad. Not only lied, claiming it was me using an alt in Mel's chat, but I concluded that her entire story was a complete fabrication. I have been learning interrogation, manipulation, lie detection, beating polygraphs as well, body language, and micro expressions since about 1990. Then why can't you trick anybody into liking you, Toxic? Why can't you trick anybody into actually liking you, bro? Huh, my boy? What a goof butt. What a silly goof butt. While no one of these tactics can prove a person is being deceptive, you know what can prove a person is being deceptive, bro? I swear to God, the truth. The truth can prove your tactics. You're absolutely right. They don't prove none of that. But the truth can prove somebody's being deceptive. But combining them and applying them in a very particular manner can easily prove deception and lies. That's actually completely inaccurate and untrue and stupid and goofy. I have a history apply my skills in courtrooms while I cross-examine witnesses, and they worked like a charm. What? Stop the cap. Stop the cap, Toxic. He says, I have a history, apply my skills in courtrooms while I cross-examine witnesses, and they work like a charm. Stop the cap, my boy. You cross-examining witnesses in a courtroom, and this is what in Fortnite. Is it that what people say? This happened in Fortnite or what? I won more than one court case simply because I cross-examined a whiteness. He says I cross-examined a whiteness against me. hold on, where is it? Oh yeah, a whiteness against me. I applied methods of exposing lies, and the result was the subjects mistakenly telling the truth when they were supposed to lie for their friend that they had testified on behalf of. Stop the cap, toxic. When using these skills, confronting a person in person or on the internet or even in the interrogation room, it's far simpler than the pressure of doing it in a courtroom as you are times. You're dealing with objections by the attorney of the plaintiff. What? So I have actually put my skills to the test when asses were on the line and won the two cases simply because I was really good at not just detective lied. What? He says, because I was really good at not just detective lied, but exploiting the fact that they were planning to lie, but also exploited the fact that the liar did not have any skills, let alone the skills to lie under much pressure. what a what a silly goof butt. You're such a silly goof butt, toxic. All right, let's hear what they say.
Actually interrogating unsubs.
I'm waterboarding your sister because she's escalating the plot to kill us.
Dad, help me!
Why the hell did I help you, D? You're still plotting to kill me? Shut up! Shut up!
This makes her more than qualified to point out rather my personal experience in interrogation. Lie detection tactics is legit or bullshit. Holy fucking shit, Charlie Day.
Hello, fellow American. You should vote me. I leave power. Good. Thank you. Thank you. If you vote me, I'm hot. What? Taxes. They'll be lower. Son. The Democratic vote for me is right thing to do, Philadelphia. So do.
Wow. So now only will she be honestly grading my abilities to detect bullshit, but she will also do her own analysis in this stream. And because I believe Crispy not only lied, claiming it was me.
Bro, there's no way they're talking about Izzy, the one that Resto was having all those issues with, right? There's no way that Toxic is talking about that Izzy.
Using an alt in Mel's chat, but I concluded that her entire story was a complete fabrication. I have been learning interrogation, manipulation, lie detection, beating. I've said well, body language and micro expressions since about 1990.
A very particular set of skills.
Well, no one of these tactics can prove a person is being deceptive, but combining them and applying them in a very particular manner can easily prove deception and lies. I have a history. Apply my skills. What are my skills? In courtrooms while I cross-examine witnesses, and they worked like a charm.
Now let's say you and I go toe-to-toe in bird law and see who comes out the victor.
I won more than one court case simply because I cross-examined a whiteness against me.
Oh,
I
whiteness.
applied methods of exposing lies, and the result
He said, "Oh, whiteness."
was the subjects mistakenly telling the truth when they were supposed to lie for their friend they had testified on behalf of. When using these skills, confronting a person in person or on the internet or even in the interrogation room, it is far simpler than the pressure of doing it in a courtroom, as you are times dealing with objects by the attorney of the plaintiff.
Let me handle this, Frank. It's not over. He's making a few good points. Look, buddy, I know a lot about the law and various other lawyerings. I'm well educated, well versed. Who is the defendant in this matter? I would like to know, as Frank's lawyer, who I am persecuting or who I'm defending.
Yeah, prosecuting. What? Yeah, I don't know about the quote.
Okay, they moved it up. Okay, he says, uh, okay, it says, so I have actually put my skills to the test when asses were on the line and won 2 cases simply because I was really good at not just detective, but lied to exploiting the fact that they were planning to lie, but also exploit or lie under pressure. So get ready, Crispy. I thought you were sweet. I fell for the voice, the act, but you really revealed yourself that night, not to mention the barrage of DMs I got after that from people who have known you for far longer than I have, warning me about you and explaining total manipulation and long winded lies were quite normal for you. I also got a few DMs from Flow State's own subs telling me how effed up it was when Speakeasy came on raging how I was a PDF, calling me PDF at the top of his lungs multiple times. Flo dropped me in spite of me being calm, all but comparing that to the fact that I was being extremely calm, simply trying to warn Flo to look into what Fatty said before and then. Bro, you need to get a life, bro. Like seriously, dog. Hopefully, bro. Real talk, man. I swear, bro, I really do. I seriously hope that you and Penelope like make it work, bro. That way, like once you actually get laid for the first time, bro, it's gonna open up a whole new world to you, Toxic. It's gonna open up a whole different world, bro. All this like Fatty said this, and Crispy said this, and Izzy said this, and bro, like, it's kind of pathetic, bro. I'm just saying. Now you say. But comparing that to the fact I was being extremely calm, simply trying to warn Flo to look into what Fatty said before and then make up his own mind, only to be raged at, lied about, assumptions made about me, and then kicked off his panel so he could talk more shit about me when I'm not there to counter his accusations. Well, where you at right now? Toxic. I know you're listening, bro. Come counter my accusations, bro, cuz I accuse you of being a silly goof butt. I say you're a silly goof butt, that you're dumb and that you're lame and that you're gay. Those are my accusations. Come prove me wrong. Come debate me, bro. Flo calling me a bitch was funny. Beings, he was the one acting like a gutless bitch the entire time and accusing me of shit he has zeros examples of.
It's like halfway done. So I have actually
Brody
my-
off the trail, my boy.
so I've actually put my skills to the test
Bow hunting skills, computer hacking skills.
when asses were on the line and won the 2 cases planning to lie, but also exploited the fact that the liar did not have any skills,
I don't even have any good skills.
let alone the skills to lie under that much pressure.
Great skills.
So get ready, Crispy. I thought you were sweet, but I fell for the voice, the act.
It's crazy, right, dude? What do you call it? Hey, look, here comes Toxic right now. Hey, Toxic! What's up, my boy? Where's the ketamine? Hey, pass the ketamine, my boy. Toxic! Hey, Toxic! Fuck. I don't think he heard me.
But you really revealed yourself that night, not to mention the barrage of DMs I got after that from people who have known you far longer than I have, warning me about you and explaining total manipulation and long-winded lies were quite normal for you. I also got a few DMs from Flow State's own subs telling me how fucked up it was that when Speakeasy came on raging how I was a PDF, calling me a PDF, at the top of his lungs multiple times, Flo dropped me, in spite of me being calm as fuck.
Perfectly calm, dude.
But comparing that to the fact that I was being extremely calm,
Calmer than you are.
simply trying to warn Flo to look out for what Fatty said before and then make up his own mind, only to be raged at, lied about, assumptions made about me, then kicked off his panel so he could talk more shit about me when I'm not there to counter his accusations. Flo calling me a bitch was funny, being as he was the one acting like a nutless bitch the entire time and accusing me of shit he has zero examples of. Crispy Treat left a poop taste in my mouth.
Bro, hey, Toxic, come here, bro. We need to talk about Crispy Treat taking a poop in your mouth, bro. Toxic. Hey, Toxic. Toxic. Hey, come here, my boy. Come here. Bring the ketamine. Come here. Toxic. Don't ignore it. Hey, come here. Toxic. Ah, he can't hear me.
After I caught her telling complete lies on Flo's panel last night.
Crispy, how dare you?
I know.
And I will analyze her statements and conclude rather she is lying about me being behind the alt, or if Crispy poor flavored treat lied about her entire story to derail, or what the fuck ever.
Jesus Christ, the kid's an idiot. Matter of fact, I'm starting to think we need to intervene on you for your goddamn illiteracy.
Yeah, you are getting real dumb.
You clearly have a
How do you, when you're typing, how do you confuse the word whether and rather? That's kind of a simple one that makes you like super dumb. Like, how do you not know it's like whether or not? It's not rather or not. That's such a goof butt thing to say. Silly goof butt. I wonder where they're at. It's crazy because when I didn't want to go back and forth, they were all over my they're no Diddy all up my ass. Y'all remember that? Y'all remember that when they were making live streams about me and putting out my police reports, saying they were gonna do this and saying they were gonna do that. Like, where's all that energy at? I'm wondering. I don't know. I don't know. Let's look for some more content on Toxic Angel. Oh shit. Oh, okay. Who cares about Toxic Angel? Let's watch this. Well, first, let's watch this. Metacognitive lone wolves.
There is a kind of intelligence that isn't measured in IQ tests. It doesn't show up in grades or promotions, or the speed at which someone talks. It is invisible to the usual metrics. It is the ability to think about thinking, to step outside your own mind and watch it work, like a mechanic listening to an engine, identifying the misfire before the breakdown. This is metacognition, and it is rare. Most people go through life reacting. A thought appears, they believe it. An emotion surfaces, they act on it. The mind is a vehicle they ride without ever looking under the hood. But a small number of people operate differently. They have built a second floor inside their own head. From there they watch, they audit. They question not just what they know, but how they know it. They catch their own biases mid-thought. They notice when fear is disguising itself as logic. They can abandon a failing strategy without ego getting in the way, because they see the strategy as a tool, not an identity. This is not intelligence as speed. It is intelligence as depth. What follows are the signs of this rare capacity. The markers that separate surface-level intellect.
Dang, this is pretty cool. I've never heard of this. Metacognition.
From the kind that sees the machinery beneath every thought, every decision, every belief. Part 1. The architecture of the invisible. Let's strip away the fluff. Most intelligence, as society defines it, is just memory. It is knowing that Paris is the capital of France. It is solving a math problem you were taught yesterday. It is absorbing the world as it is given to you. That is not power. That is storage. The intelligence we are talking about today lives on a different floor of the building. Metacognition. It is the ability to think about thinking, to hold a thought in your hand like a knife, turn it over and ask, why did I just think that? Was that true? Or was that a bias? Was that logic, or was that fear wearing the mask of logic? Now imagine living with that scanner turned on, 24 hours a day. You're at a dinner party. The table is loud, people are laughing. Someone makes a political statement. The crowd nods, while everyone else is absorbing the statement as fact. Your mind is split in two. One part of you hears the words. The other part is watching yourself react to the words. You feel the emotional pull. You feel the desire to agree just to keep the peace. You see the logical fallacy hidden in the rhetoric. And you decide to say nothing. Not because you are shy, but because you realize that engaging would require you to either lie, which your internal monitor rejects, or tell the truth, which would shatter the fragile social illusion. So you sit, silent, observing, and they look at you and they think he is weird. She is quiet. But you aren't quiet. You are processing. You are running a diagnostic on the entire ecosystem of the room. This is sign number 1. High-fidelity self-monitoring. You don't just have feelings. You track the origin of those feelings. Most people wake up angry and assume the world is bad. You wake up angry and you pause. You ask, is this anger justified by external events, or did I sleep poorly? Is this about the person in front of me? Or is this about a memory from 10 years ago that just got triggered? You are your own scientist, your own lab rat. And here is where the isolation begins. Because try explaining that to a coworker. Try saying, sorry, I can't focus on your story about the office printer right now because I am currently debugging a recursive loop in my own mind. They will look at you like you have 3 heads. So you learn. You learn that the external world is noise. Noise breaks the signal. Noise makes you lose the thread of your internal audit. So you seek solitude, because the signal is that valuable, and maintaining it requires space. Part 2. The compass that needs no crowd. Now let's talk about the second sign, the one that terrifies the systems of power around you. Intellectual autonomy. Society runs on a currency called social validation. It is how we price ideas. If 10 people believe it, it must be valuable. If 1 million people retweet it, it must be true. This is efficient for the herd. It allows the herd to move fast, but it is poison to the metacognitive mind. You have built something else, an internal rubric, a compass. You don't look to the crowd to tell you if an idea is good. You look at the idea itself. You stress test it against your mental models. You run simulations. You ask, does this hold up under pressure? Does it work in the real world, or does it just feel good to say? Here is the bold truth they won't tell you. Most of what everyone knows is wrong. It is wrong because it was never tested. It was passed down, it was inherited. It was convenient. The lone wolf walks into a room. Everyone is nodding. Everyone is agreeing. And the lone wolf says quietly, no, not to be a contrarian, not for the sake of rebellion, but because the internal compass has already pointed north and the crowd is walking west. And the crowd feels that. They feel the weight of your silence. They feel the challenge of your stillness. You're holding 2 opposing ideas in your mind at the same time. You see the gray. The crowd sees black and white. because seeing gray requires a tolerance for tension that most brains are too lazy to develop. You don't get the mental itch of cognitive dissonance. You understand that truth is often a paradox. This makes you dangerous to institutions.
Hey, that's so true. Truth is often a paradox.
Institutions, whether corporate, political, or social, rely on alignment. They need you to accept the shortcut. They need you to outsource your thinking to the group. When you refuse to outsource, you become a wild card, an uncontrolled variable, and the world does not know what to do with an uncontrolled variable. So it tries to shame you. They always will. Part 3, the toolkit and the fail fast. Let's get to the third sign. This is where the lone wolf separates from the merely intelligent person. Rapid strategy shifting. Most people approach life like a hammer. When you have a hammer, every problem looks like a nail. They pick a strategy, usually the one that worked last time, and they apply it with increasing force. When it doesn't work, they try harder. They double down. They invest more ego. The metacognitive lone wolf does not have a hammer. They have a toolkit, and they are standing outside of themselves, watching. They are playing a game of chess against themselves. When a strategy fails, they don't feel the sting of ego. They don't take it personally. They simply note, tool A is not effective for this substrate. Switch to tool B. This is the fail-fast mentality. But it's not a business buzzword for them. It is survival. You see, the lone wolf doesn't have the luxury of stubbornness. They don't have a team to blame. They don't have a boss to defer to. When they fail, it is on them. So they have developed a ruthless efficiency in abandoning dead ends. You will see this in their work. They will be working on a project and suddenly stop. They will sit back. They will stare at the ceiling for 10 minutes. Then they will come back and completely change the approach. To an outsider, it looks like indecision or laziness. Or why did you stop? You were making progress. But the lone wolf knows you are making progress in the wrong direction. Progress in the wrong direction is not progress. It is just expensive wandering. Their mind is constantly auditing. Is this efficient? Is this the right framework? Am I using logic here, or am I using emotion disguised as logic? This ability to switch mental frameworks on the fly, to go from analytical to creative, from strategic to tactical, in the span of a breath is rare. It is the hallmark of a mind that has been trained in solitude to be flexible. Part 4, the gatekeeper of attention. We have to address the fourth sign. And this one stings because it looks antisocial. It looks cruel sometimes. Hyper-awareness of mental bandwidth. You treat your attention like a vault, like a finite, non-renewable resource, because it is. Every time you open the door to social interaction, to media, to the news, to the drama of the day, you are letting thieves into that vault. The lone wolf has done the math. They know that 1 hour of shallow, chaotic interaction burns the same amount of cognitive fuel as 3 hours of deep systemic thinking. And they would rather spend the fuel on the thinking. So they become gatekeepers, ruthless ones. They usually don't answer texts immediately. They don't pop by for coffee. They don't engage in the ritual of gossip. Ham society looks at this and says, rude, selfish, arrogant. But here is the psychological truth. It is not selfishness, it is preservation. Imagine you are a deep-sea diver. You are exploring the Mariana Trench of your own mind. You are finding connections. You are building frameworks. You are solving problems that have been haunting you for years. Now imagine someone keeps yanking your oxygen hose to show you a funny cat video. That is what small talk feels like to the metacognitive mind. It is not that they hate the cat video. It is that the yank breaks the dive. It takes 45 minutes to get back to that depth. And by the time they get back, the thought is gone. The connection is lost. So they build walls. They guard their mornings. They guard their evenings. They create a fortress of solitude. And in that fortress, they process. They take the raw data of the day, the conversations, the observations, the failures, and they run it through the refinery. They extract the meaning. They update the models. This is not depression. This is not avoidance. This is maintenance on a high-performance engine. Part 5, the map of the unknown. The fifth sign is the most subtle and perhaps the most painful to possess, conscious competence. The Dunning-Kruger effect tells us that the loudest people in the room are usually the most incompetent. They don't know what they don't know, so they speak with the confidence of a god. The metacognitive lone wolf suffers from the opposite affliction. They know exactly where their knowledge ends. They can trace the map of their own mind. They know the territories they have mastered. But more importantly, they know the vast, dark, unexplored territories where their guesswork begins. This makes them hesitant to speak in out.
You know what's funny is that Toxic Angel is constantly trying to put that label on somebody, the Dunning-Kruger effect, but that epitomizes him. Or he is the epitome of the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Absolutes. When asked a question, they don't just give the answer. They give the footnotes. They tell you the assumptions they are making. They tell you the margin of error. I believe this is true based on these 3 data points, but I am missing information regarding X. So take this with a grain of salt. In a world that demands binary answers left or right, good or bad, us or them, this nuance sounds like weakness, but it is the ultimate strength. It is intellectual honesty, and it is why the lone wolf rarely gets caught in the traps that ensnare the masses. They don't fall for the charismatic leader, because they are auditing the leader's logic against their own models. They don't fall for the fad, because they are watching the fad's life cycle with clinical detachment. They are the ones who, during a mass panic, stand still and ask, what is the actual probability here? They are the ones who, during a gold rush, sell the shovels and walk away, because they are not looking at the surface.
That's
they are
enough
looking
of
at
that.
the process.
Hold on.
With hotels and vacation
rentals, Booking.com has something for everyone.
City shows. You got anything routine? How would I walk around the store?
Okay, now for those of you that were here the other day when we did the Cuckaduck stream, this guy Dan Hinchel, turns out, man, he's like a prolific storyteller and has a lot of very interesting the first 40 minutes was just to warm up and get all of the silliness out of the system. So we're just gonna watch something interesting now. I don't know which one we're gonna listen to yet, but let's see. Here we go. I hate squirrels. I can't stand squirrels, man. If y'all don't know, I cannot stand the animal squirrels. So
I have been up all night because of a squirrel.
Okay, here we go. He said he's been up all night because what the fuck? He's bald and don't have no eyebrows or eyelashes or nothing. That's fucking crazy. But let's listen to his story.
Been up all night because of a fucking squirrel. I got maybe 1 hour of sleep. I
hate squirrels so much, man. I swear to God. There used to be this live stream that was this park. It was like a park in one of these big cities. They just recorded the squirrels, and I used to go on there and harass the squirrels for like a couple hours a day.
And then I couldn't even properly enjoy it because my girlfriend was crying in the bathroom. And let me just say, I know that there's a lot of people who people get on my ass constantly about the fact that, oh, you don't like animals, you're a jerk, you don't like animals. You know what? I think it's actually that everybody else has a bad relationship with animals, and I am the one who's right.
Bro, that's what I say. Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have all these animals and shit, like, that's weird to me.
Because it seems like everybody else is crazy when it comes to animals.
Amen.
And I don't understand it.
Amen.
I don't understand it. And maybe I will admit that, I mean, and let me just say, I'm not a psychopath. I don't think. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I have empathy. I tested it out, and I believe I do. But what I don't have is irrationality. I'm a rational man, and I am a man who does what makes sense and thinks what makes sense. And thinks about things logically because I'm smart. And a lot of times when you're smart,
when you have more intelligence, maybe not, well, sure, maybe more intelligence than other people. And again, let me just say, intelligence is not the only thing that makes you a valuable human being.
True.
So it just because some people have less of it than me does not mean that they are less
That's
valuable.
true.
It just means they're less intelligent. It's like anything. I mean, it's like blonde. If you're blonde or if you're brunette, that doesn't make you any more valuable person unless you ask somebody from history who would have a problem with that. But in general, I'm saying that
What a dummy. I think he's talking about Hitler.
different qualities that people have. It's not bad to be stupid unless your ignorance affects other people. And
That's true. That's true. I agree with that.
in this case, it is ignorance. It is not that I am some.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that ignorance is the same as stupidity. Ignorance is just the lack of knowledge.
Sociopath who doesn't care about
Oh my God, the commercials.
We're here for our
So my girlfriend loves animals. And last night, we were walking around the sidewalk because she was like, "We've been sitting in the bedroom all day. Why don't we go out and do something? Why don't we go to dinner?" And I was like, "Ugh, no. Why do you want to do that? I hate going out places." And then she said, "Well, can we at least maybe take a walk around the neighborhood? Just a little walk?" And I was like, "What? 100 fucking degrees out in the middle of March in LA? It's been a whole week where it's 100 degrees, literally 100 degrees." That
What a crybaby, right? Just take your girlfriend for a walk, well.
I'm pretty sure that's the temperature that an oven can get. I'm pretty sure an oven can be on when it's on. I mean, I guess an oven can be any temperature, but when it's on, it can be at 100 degrees. So it is literally the temperature of an oven outside.
That's the dumbest logic I ever heard in my life. That's the dumbest logic ever.
And she said, "Well, why? I have to get out of the house. I have to get out from this bed. I can't just, all day." And so I said, "Fine. We can go for a brief walk around as long as," and this was my caveat, "as long as we go after dark or after the sun goes down. We don't have to go after dark, but if the sun is down, it's not really going to help very much because it's still been, 90 degrees when the sun goes down, but at least it'll make a difference. The sun will be..."
Man, when I went to California, the weather was perfect. It was like 65, 70 degrees in the morning. Or now it's like 65 in the morning and like 70, 75 throughout the day.
Last thing on me, And I was like, "Well, it could be kind of nice. I mean, we'll just go for a walk around the block and, whatever." I should have known. Because, we were walking along and there was a little something on the sidewalk. I thought it was dog shit, to be honest with you. And she stopped and was like, "Oh!" And I said, "What?" "Yeah, the city doesn't take care of our infrastructure. Newsflash." And she said, "Oh my gosh." And she started walking closer and closer to the puddle of shit that was on the ground. At least that's what I thought it was. And she said, oh my gosh, kneeled down. And that's when I realized that it was some sort of chipmunk or something, or
damn.
rat, or some kind of rodent. And it was very small. And I was like, don't touch that. It's a rat. They're everywhere. Again, we live in the city. They don't take care of the infrastructure. There's rats everywhere. And it probably, ate some poison and then died. And she said, no, this is a squirrel. And I said, okay, so it is a rat then. Still, there's really no difference between a rat and a squirrel. It's a rodent. I can't even begin to imagine how many rodents there are in the world. Can you imagine how many rodents there are probably in the world? Millions, billions, trillions. Easily. But for some reason, on this particular night, this particular rodent crossed paths with a very naive young woman. And so she said, oh, it's a baby. And I was like, okay, yes, it's a baby. Because I figured this was one of those things. Sometimes if you just entertain the nonsense for a minute, then it's like, oh, yeah, and that's why I was like, oh, no. Sometimes if you just kind of play along, then eventually, she'll get bored and then move on. So I was like, oh, that's so sad. Okay, well, let's go. And I started trying to walk in the other direction. And I realized this time that was not going to work because her attention was fixated. And she had been kneeling on one knee before, and I was like, yes, I'll marry you. No, I won't. No,
I'll marry you.
That's supposed to be a joke. She was kneeling on one knee and she was like, will you marry me, squirrel? Maybe that's what's funnier. Is that funnier? She was asking the squirrel. She was proposing to the squirrel. She might as well have been, And so I was like, okay, let's go. I started walking in the other direction. And she got down now and sat on the sidewalk. So I was like, fucking hell, man. Now that maneuver just added 20 minutes to this dilettante. Is that the word? Liaison? No, that's not it. I don't know. Dilettante. Sure. I'll have to look it up after this. So she was sitting on the ground and getting closer. I was like, oh, baby. And I know that if I, have any lip, and I'm even trying, because right now I'm sort of letting loose and I'm letting my sighs go as loud as possible, But I know if I start to do that, then that's going to start a whole argument because it'll be like, you're always a negative person, you're always a jerk, and you always never do blah, 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 that kind of thing. So I was getting more and more annoyed, but also I was like, okay, fine, let's just, again, entertain this, and then we'll move on. Hopefully this is not the type of thing that's going to ruin the night, which it ended up being, of course, because she's not emotionally resilient or malleable. So at this point I was still thinking, fine, whatever, baby squirrel, hopefully it'll get up and run away. So she was like, there's something wrong with it. And so I was like, we'll just get, and I started to kind of try to kick it with not kick it, but, just kind of skirt it, That would used to be a song, right? That was when I was a teenager, that would be like, people would be like, skirt. People still do that. Skirt. Like you're driving a car. Skirt. And I was just kind of trying to, just get it to go away so that she would see, oh, everything's fine, and that's just whatever. And she was like, stop it! And I was like, I'm trying to get it to get up. And she said, he's not going to get up here. There's a problem. And
Granger knows that if you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when a conveyor motor falters,
Oh, shit.
Granger offers diagnostic tools like calibration kits and multimeters.
My bad. I'm working on something else while I'm doing this, so I'm just letting it play.
I said, well, you know what? Let me go. I'm going to run home and I'm going to get my magic wand and my wizard hat. And I'm going to wave my magic wand and make everything okay. Is that what you want me to do? That seems like a lot of times what you want to do, you know? And I've used that line before. You know, I'm always like, what exactly am I supposed to do now that you have told me about this? What are you expecting from me? Because it seems like what you're expecting me to do is work a miracle like a genie to fix every problem that has ever occurred on the planet Earth. What do you expect me to do about this? Because if there's nothing that I can do about it, it doesn't concern me, and it's all it is doing is adding to the burden of my day. I get through every day on a my day, at the end of my day, I am a house of cards that is very, very, very flimsy. And the slightest blow is going to knock me over completely. So do not burden me with bullshit if I cannot do anything about it. And again, I didn't say all of this particular time because we've thought about this many times. And so even that now is like, all right, well, we're just going to have the same argument again. And then that's going to run on as we 3 hours for us to go run around in circles about, you know, all the problems that we've ever had, you know, all the fundamental differences between our personalities and all the reasons why we're attracted to each other, even though we you know, sort of sabotage each other because we're trying to figure out what we needed as a child, you know, get that through the other person. It's like, okay, well, this stuff is never going to be solved. So why don't you just get over it? Sorry, And you know, something that I will admit is that I have to try to intentionally remind myself to be compassionate. Because what I've noticed I always went through my life letting my internal emotions guide the way. Because everybody else told me that was what you were supposed to do, and that seemed like that was the way that you went about it, you know. And then as I got older, I realized, I don't know if maybe something's wrong with me, but what I have to do, I can't be like other normal people. I have to say, hang on a minute. Before you say this, before you react to this with what your intuitive feeling is, you need to ask yourself, you need to intercept your thought process and say, what does this person think you're going to do? What is this person expecting you to do? You know, you have to remember that a lot of other people do not have the same intelligence as you. And again, that's not a bad thing. And maybe it's a bad way to say that, because I'm not trying to say I'm smarter than everybody else and that means I'm better than everyone else. But some people just, you know, I need to sort of be like, you know, Mel, maybe telling this person that it is useless that they're crying, even though that's what you feel, and even though you are right, I am right, you're crying about this is useless, and it's wasting everybody's time and your emotional reserves. That's not going to help the person. You need to say, why are you crying? You know, that sort of thing. And so that's what I tried to do. So in this instance, I was like, okay, intercept and ask questions. Questions are usually safe things to say, right? So I said, oh no, what do you think is wrong with it? And she said, I don't know, you know. And also, let me just say this too. I've also noticed that if I play along and I play sort of the character of like, oh no, that's horrible, you know, then that ends up better for me, you know, because then she's like, oh, he's such a great boyfriend and he cares about the things that I care about and blah, blah, you know. But that ends up better for me. Is there something is in this car that smells like dog shit? Oh well. So that's what I was trying to do in this particular instance. And I said, what's wrong? What do you think is wrong with it? And she said, oh, I don't know. It's breathing, but it's not, its eyes are sort of closed like this. And like, and what I wanted to say was, oh, well, congratulations on getting your veterinary degree. Congratulations. That was Johns Hopkins Medical School, How do you know that? How do you know any of this information? And how do you know how to diagnose these problems in an animal? Is it because you saw on Instagram? Can you pull up your phone right now and maybe show me the Instagram? Because I would really like to see it. If there's an Instagram post that can make you a veterinary expert, please show it to me because I want that kind of knowledge, I didn't say that, of course. I said, well, that sucks. And that's the truth. That's the truth. It does suck, the poor baby. That's very sad for this world. But fucking squirrel.
There's a reason I trust my shopping list with Shipt. Shoppers with Shipt know that no order is ordinary.
And I thought I was not really fully upset by this point because I thought that she was a rational person and understood that, the very obvious truth that we are not responsible for preventing the death of any animal on the face of the planet because everything dies. That's something that I think, if we're being totes truthful right now, I think that is the ultimate problem with a lot of other people's thought processes, is that they cannot accept that, or they don't want to admit that everything eventually will die. So they believe for some reason that we should prevent the death of any animal. No animal should ever die. And when I say that to them, they're like, do you understand? We'll be watching a documentary on the documentary channel, and then the antelope gets tackled by the jaguar, and she's like, turn the channel. And I say, how do you think the fabric of our reality works? How do you think do you just not think about that? Do you just not think about the way that everything on Earth works? Have you not put 1 centigrade of computing power into thinking about what life is? With me is emotion. They say, well, you're not being nice. You're not caring about my feelings. And I said, well,